What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Listen, I be right a lot. I'm wrong sometimes, but I be right a lot. I said for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I do not believe all these people playing on week one are going to be playing on week one. I said that. I also said, can we do a show without Dolphins being injured? And evidently we cannot. Both of those are coming together for today's show. We're starting with the biggest news of the day. Jason Sanders, our Pro Bowl, I think he's been all pro at one point, kicker, multiple times special teams player of the month, is out for the first 4 to 5 weeks. That's what we're saying right now. It can obviously go longer with a hip injury that I don't know where that came from. Just all of a sudden, hey, my hip's not feeling good. He won't need surgery, which is good, so he can heal by itself naturally. But hip injury for a kicker seems ish. That's like Devon Achan having a calf slash Achilles situation. That's not good. So he's gonna be out for the first 4 to 5 weeks. We do not have a backup field goal kicker on the roster, which means we need to go get one. I think Eddie Pinheiro is going to be the most likely choice. He was 22 or 26 last year for Carolina. That makes sense. He's also the youngest of like okay kickers remaining. Like there's the Nick Folk level guys that are in their 40s still out there, but we're not. What are we doing? Like, can we not get a 49-year-old kicker? Like, we don't need Morton Anderson out here. We can be better than that. So we will have to get a kicker just because we don't have a kicker now. And Jason Sanders was the only bright spot on our special teams last year consistently. Again, multiple times special teams player of the month. He made 27 straight field goals at one point, dominant from 50. He was awesome last year. After a year in 2023 where it was like, like he had some of us scared going into last year, balled out. Now we start going into the year. We're hoping that it's only the 4 weeks and that he comes back healthy and we don't have any more issues. I didn't get the exact information of what is going on in his hip. There's a lot of things happening in your hip. It could be a labrum. It could be some kind of bursitis thing where it's just inflammation in the bursa sacs down there. Um, I mean, it could be muscular, just like a strain and like I guess like your obliques kind of connected. It's a lot to get into. Like my personal trainer brain kicked in for a second. There are a lot of things. Your hip and your shoulder have basically the same kind of joint, like that ball and socket joint. So it gives you extra range of motion, but but the stability is a little bit lesser. So there's always a trade off. If there's something going on where you're hypermobile or you do something too crazy, you can strain different muscles and ligaments within there. So a lot can be happening in his hip. Nothing is torn because he's not getting surgery, but something is probably really, really strained. I'm sure there's some mobility issues, probably really sore. Um, Hopefully, we get him back. I mean, we all know how important kicking is in the league. How many games come down to field goals? I mean, that's what it is. So this is a big blow. We had other people we knew weren't going to be ready for week one. He was not on my bingo card. I'll be honest. He was right in the same category as Tua for me. Where if you told me Tua wasn't playing week one, I'd be like, based on what? What happened? When I saw this news today, I was like, what? Did I miss something from the game? I don't know. He's out for the time being. So we wish Jason the best. Get back soon. Get back healthy. And hopefully this is just an early season blip. We're going to need you late in the year, especially in those cold weather games against higher level competition. We're going to need you. Heal up. Come back stronger. We'll see you after the pup list. I also talked about Jason Marshall Jr. taking over in the slot. And I was talking about, hey, Mike's the vet and Jason's a young buck, but his upside is so much higher. Blah blah blah. Well, evidently Miami watches the show as well because they have cut Mike Hilton today. Straight up cut. I thought they might keep Mike on to be like the fourth or fifth corner, and then he can teach Jason a little bit of the ropes. They said, "We don't need your services here anymore, good sir. Thank you for the few weeks. Enjoy your check, and we wish you the best." This is shocking to me. Our secondary is easily the weakest part of our team at the moment. And the fact that we got rid of a vet who admittedly wasn't playing great up to this point. He hasn't been great in camp, but we kind of thought, the veteranness of him could override his play at the moment. But the fact that we just said straight up, we don't need your services anymore is wild. Just straight, cha cha cha. No beef with Mike. I'm shocked by it. they were like when we got Mike and Jack Jones, it was like on the same day, and it was almost consensus. Mike is going to start at slot. Jack is going to compete for cornerback one or two. That's how it was reported. And for Mike to not even be on the team anymore before the season starts is kind of like shocking. That also is a really really big praise to Jason Marshall. That not that he's a finished product, but he did so well that we gave a guy money and cut it almost immediately, thinking he's a better investment. I talked about him having a higher upside. He's much more athletic. He's much younger, and he has outside corner pedigree. And he's just adding inside corner technique to his already outside corner pedigree, which is based on ball skills and competitiveness and breaking on the ball. Like he already has all that, and he added the slot stuff about how to get hands on receivers without getting flags thrown on you, how to deal with those option routes, even quicker reaction, shorter windows of throwing lanes, and all that. Shout out to Jason for just earning a job, just straight up. I think going into camp, he may have been cornerback 5 or 6, but we also thought like Artie Burns would maybe be there. We thought obviously Cater would be there. So it wasn't like he was 5 or 6 just because he wasn't great. It was just we thought we had a few starters, and when he got drafted, we had Jalen Ramsey too. So keep that with a grain of salt. But for him to emerge into a starting slot role, awesome. Give it up for the young pup. Mike, wish you the best. I'm sure he will find himself on some team. I think he still has something left to give. Um, but he's out. And him being released actually opens up a roster spot too because we do need to get a kicker. But more than that, other teams are also releasing corners. We got our eye on what the Browns are doing. The other teams in the league who may have had guys like Nick Needham is now back available. I saw some reports that we might go after Nick again. He was a safety for us before. We kind of have a need at safety. Like don't be shocked if tomorrow, the episode after, that Nick's back on the team. Don't be shocked. But there's also other teams that may have corners that we kind of had our eye on, and we just were like waiting in the back, like, are they gonna let this person play or not? And that player gets cut, then the Dolphins might swoop in and pick up someone that they had high on their board, but just was on another roster. So I don't think this is purely Mike, you're not good, get out. I think is we can do that position without you, but we also need to fill probably a couple other positions. So there'll probably be people who are cut that we do like, but just aren't as valuable or aren't as good as the players that we're replacing them with. That's what I'm anticipating. Another guy who won't be playing week one is Jalen Wright, who, you know, again, we were hearing day to day and he can come back soon and all that. And all of a sudden, not playing week one. Don't know if it's going to extend past week one. If there's any question at all, he might get put on the pup list as well. But I mentioned in the very last episode, I think Ollie Gordon being RB2 week one, don't be shocked. That I said it, not even knowing a Jalen Wright. Like guys, I don't have any insider intel. I know I just be dropping these bars. Y'all think I know. I don't be I just watch a lot of football and read the tea leaves. Like I have multiple sources of information. I'm going through, I'm double checking. I'm like, I'm starting to see some themes. I'm hearing what's not being said. And then some of it is just football intuition. People will say stuff to you like, nah, you capping right now. You don't believe what you're saying. When they were saying Jalen Wright's going to be back, he's just a little banged up. Like I don't think he's playing. I don't. I just don't think he's playing. And so now he is not playing week one. Hopefully he'll be back by week 2 or 3. But this means that week one, assuming Devon plays in week one, which I think is still questionable at this time. We'll know a week out if he's going to play or not. But it's actually now entirely possible that week one, Ollie Gordon is RB1, which is out of control. We were talking when he first got drafted. I thought him and Devon could be a Sonic and Knuckles 2.0. I got some pushback from that because David Montgomery and Ollie Gordon shouldn't be compared, which is fair. David Montgomery, I think, is a really good running back. We know what Jameer Gibbs is. We know what Devon Achane are. But I said I thought that's what the ceiling of the team could be. Those are our two main running backs. Speed, power, speed, power. I thought it could work out. And the fact that he could be literally starting our season opener, I think it's 40% chance he starts game one. Because if Devon's calf is not 149% healthy, he should not be playing week one. Hard stop. I don't care. I can gut it out or give me some kinesio tape and I can just keep it. Whatever. I'd rather him miss the first 2, 3, 4 weeks and then play the rest of the season than him be playing at 90%, afraid of one step being the wrong step. Not here for it. Don't want to see it. I know Cam Akers just got released today, so maybe there's a role to bring Cam Akers in. He plays a little bit like Devon. He's not obviously not nearly as fast, but his build is similar. Quick runner, Florida State grad, so maybe he can come back to the state of Florida. We'll see. But Jalen Wright will be out at first. Hopefully, this is only a 1 or 2 week thing. He can get back on the field. And then even if it's him and Ali for a couple weeks, I think that's more than a good combination. And what an audition for Jalen Wright. If you actually get to be more or less RB1 for a few weeks, that's what he's been wanting this whole time. He said, I think I can be special and a starter in this league. Obviously not for us, but if he does get the starting role because Devon's out, that's the best thing that could happen for his confidence, maybe the best thing for the team. But he will not be there week 1 as of now, and we're hoping that it is a quick turnaround. He's back by week 2 or week 3 at the latest. Back to the comments, and some more rankings came out for the league today. So I got the question that a lot of people, I'm sure, are talking about. Tyreek Hill going from number 8 down to number 47. So people ask me, how do you feel about Tyreek dropping the rankings? Do you think the ranking is fair? That kind of thing. I think the ranking based on last year is pretty accurate. I don't know when we did the episode, because we do these daily. A couple months ago, probably, where I mentioned I could see Tyreek easily falling between 40 and 50. It seemed another thing I was right about. I saw him falling between 40 and 50 because I know who the top 30 are. The top 30 are people who are Pro Bowlers / All Pros, basically. So he obviously was not either last year, so he can't be in the top 30 unless you just discount last year, which you could, but that's not typically how these rankings go. That's why Tua fell to 91, because it was like, well, he was hurt last year. I don't think they think Tua's 30 points worse than 30 players worse than he was, but he definitely was more injured than he was 2 years ago, so that's how it works. Tyreek being a top 10 a year ago was based off the year before, where he had 1,700 yards. Makes sense to me. Arguably wide receiver 1, 2 at worst at that time. Top 10 player. Get it. When you don't get 1,000 yards, when you touchdowns go down, when you're injured, yeah, you drop down in the rankings. And these aren't permanent situations. They're not fluid during the year. Not saying that. But the idea that we're basing this off of where you were last year and where you are going into this year. As far as I know, this is like analysts and coaches and people who are really locked into football voting on this. So these aren't just like fans. And I do think they are aware that you can do better. This might even be a motivational kind of thing. Like, hey, Tyreek, we're putting you at 47, but it's because you didn't play last year. And when you did play, you didn't have your quarterback a lot of times. You weren't that great. So we don't think you've fallen off that much, but you definitely fell off production-wise. I mean, almost literally cut in half. What are we doing? Like, for you to drop 40 spots, yeah, if your stats get cut in half, if Josh Allen has, I think he had 38-ish, 3,900 yards last year. If he has 2,000 yards passing and 10 rushing touchdowns, he's not going to be a top 5 ranking for next year. That's just how that works. Now, you might still think he's a top 5 player, but you can't rank him that way if his stats got cut in half from the year before. Barring, of course, catastrophic injuries. So if he plays half the games, he gets half the stats, then that wouldn't make sense, right? But if he plays the whole season and gives you half the stats, then you can't be like, I didn't see it. I think this is good for Tyreek. I think Tyreek humbling and Tyreek kind of fit in the same sentence in some respect. But I think not even humbling, because that may be too harsh. I think motivating is a better word. I want Tyreek to be motivated the way I want the whole team to be motivated. There's so much on this year for basically everybody. Basically everybody. Tua, is next year going to be your last year with the team, or do we trade you in the offseason? Let's figure it out. Coach McDaniel, what are we doing? Chris Greer, what is it? Tyreek, do you want that extension? Terry McLaurin today got a 3-year extension, 30+ million. We talked about it on this channel. Another one that it was like, I knew what he was playing for. He saw A.J. Brown's contract and said, I want that. I don't want Jamar Chase money. I think that's too much. Obviously, I don't think I'm Justin Jefferson either, but I do think I'm in that A.J. Brown category, and his stats last year showed that he was. I said somewhere between 30 and 33 million. Landed, I think, at 32, 31 and a half, something like that. Right there. That's exactly where he was slotted. I'm not sure what the Commanders were trying to get him to get, but that's what he got. So Tyreek, when he gets after this next year, is not going to want 20 something million. He's going to want more than Terry McLaurin, probably less than Justin Jefferson. So I'm going to guess 33, 34 million, probably for a 2 year extension. So I'm guessing that Tyreek's goal is going to be a 2 year, $75 million extension, somewhere in that ballpark. We can check the numbers in a year. You don't get that if you don't ball out. We know you're fast. You know you got the name recognition. You sell jerseys. You're doing backflips. Love Tyreek. But if you don't go out this year and put up 1,512 plus touchdowns, you are not getting 34, 35 million next year. No chance. Because the league will say that guy's washed. You will get a 1 year, maybe 25 to 30 million, and maybe some incentives in there. So it's 25 base, and you can maybe get up to 33, 34 if you like make a Pro Bowl, 10 TDs, 1,500 yards. Like you can level it up. No chance if you have anywhere close to last year's of a season that you would get that money. No chance. So I think this is good for Tyreek. He's motivated enough. Tua's obviously motivated. The O line, getting healthy and trying, and the whole organization should be on alert. If Tyreek had been ranked 11 or 12, then he's like, all right, even if I fall off, I'm still Himothy. So I think that would have been worse. Him now being ranked behind, the Amon Ross, the Puka Nakuas, and these guys, that he's got to be like, all right, those guys aren't better than me. Let me go out and show you who Tyreek Hill is. And if he does that, that's obviously good for Tyreek Hill and his future contract implications. But even better and more selfishly, it's better for us, the team. Because if Tyreek is out there doing Tyreek things, everybody looks better. Tua looks better. He's confident. Jalen Wright gets better matchups. The running game is better. The defense gets a break. The defenses that we're playing against have to play a more shell, deep coverage to like make up for Tyreek's speed, which makes all the underneath stuff more wide open. Like it all checks out, assuming Tyreek gets back to form. And this ranking, as damning as it is, I think it'd be motivating again and ultimately better for the team. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.